All right, we have an interesting Clarey Test request. We have a Clarey Test request on Andrew Ryan and Sofia Lamb. For those of you who are adequately geeky enough, you know that those are two of the main characters in the Bioshock series. I love the Bioshock games, but I like the two first ones better than I did the third one, Bioshock Infinite, which is it was just too. I appreciate what they were trying to do. Like, let's sneak a little bit in Ayn Rand and freedom and intellectual flight, just some intelligence into a video game. Okay, let's just try and sneak that in a little bit. But Bioshock Infinite got way too complicated. The game was fun. I love playing the game, and I love playing the first two, Bioshock 1 and 2. But it was the backdrop was way too complicated. Playing the tapes and everything like that, and it was like an Ayn Rand novel, way too long. Not the video game, but just like, look, just whittle this down a little bit. It was a great attempt. I appreciated it for what it was. But I was kind of just expecting to play a horror game, shoot 'em up. Well-designed game too, just a really well-designed game. And like, there's this whole other, economic soap opera going on behind that. So I was like, all right. So let us take a look at Andrew Ryan. If I recall correctly, I liked him. I think he was like the Hank Reardon of the group. Andrew Ryan, who born Russian, is a founder of Rapture and the owner of Ryan Industries. He's the main antagonist throughout most of Bioshock. He's the chairman of Rapture City Council, owner-operator of Hephaestus, and one of the most important men in the city. He only appears in person in the Rapture Central Control level. Born in a village near Minsk in the Russian Empire, modern-day Belarus, grew up in a Jewish Belarusian family during the time when the Tsar still had autocratic rule over that country. Minsk was the front lines of First World War. 1917 witnessed the Russian Revolution, which eventually brought the Bolsheviks to power and destroyed Ryan's family business. Oh, no wonder he hates the communists. Ryan also watched as the Bolshevik Red Guard killed his aunt and uncle during a purge for associating with Ryan's father and others who opposed the communist regime before fleeing with his father to Constantinople. So it's based in history. It's pointing that out. All right, so he didn't come from wealth. Experiences of Soviet rule led him in his personal philosophy. The modern world was created by great men who strove to make their own way. Anytime parasites gained control of such a world, they destroyed it. As a boy in 1919, he fled to America, believed it'd be a great place. Just before Belarus and multiple other countries before the Soviet Union, he anglicized his name to Andrew Ryan. Grateful for wealth and fame. Managed to get rich by fortunately striking oil on his property, investing wisely afterwards. However, the state-run social programs created in the 1930s increasingly tested that devotion. His experiences in the workers' paradise made Ryan despise the ideals of socialism and collectivism, as he believed that those who benefited undeservedly from others were parasites. What they are. I like how he put quotations. Did you take money that wasn't yours? Yes. Well, then you're a parasite. Do you need other people to live? Do you need a government check? Well, then you're a parasite. He considered Roosevelt that his New Deal is to be spoon-feed Americans on the Bolshevik poison. True. Once owned a large forest as a personal retreat, one of the many groups. They may establish a public park there. When the government attempted to nationalize it as parkland, Ryan's response was to burn it to the ground to deny it to the parasites. Good. The structure here in his eyes, the bomb was the ultimate corruption of his ideals and arson and destruction. All right, so then he goes and creates Rapture. All right, I think he's more Howard Hughesy, maybe. I think he's a little bit more Howard Hughesy, we could say that. He doesn't mention a degree. That is just an industrialist. So let's say didn't come from wealth, no stupid degree. Worked his way, and he started Rapture. I think he probably gets killed inevitably. So he got a perfect score. Would I like to have a beer with him? Yes, and I would shut up and listen to every word he have to say, though I'm sure we'd agree. Should he run for office? Absolutely. He should run for office. All right, let's type in Sofia Lamb. That's what I typed in, Sofia Lamb. PhD, MD, clinical psychiatrist. Oh, psychiatrist is the real one. Psychologist is the fake one. Main antagonist of Bioshock 2. She has assumed Andrew Ryan's position as the leader of Rapture, albeit with a completely different ideological view. Lamb speaks with a southeastern British accent. From an early age, Lamb was raised by her father. He was a physician. She came from wealth firm, believed in the utilitarian idea of greater good, which referred to as the triage imperative. Sofia Lamb adopted this philosophy, later followed his footsteps, studying medicine at the University of Oxford. Good. And subsequently specialized in psychiatry. While living in Hiroshima during World War II, she worked as a missionary providing medical relief to the survivors of Hiroshima bombing. Noble, but I'm going to wonder if that's actual work. Lamb survived the bombings, but learned that the long dear friends she made in Hiroshima were killed. Lamb was appalled when she discovered the United States were using her own altruistic ideal of the greater good to justify the bombing. And this convinced her that the world was doomed to destroy itself. When Andrew Ryer invited her down to his utopia to provide counseling for the isolated populace, she welcomed the opportunity. Dr. Ramel arrived in a rapture. She began spreading her altruistic ideals, hoping to enlighten souls through the common good. Okay, so she was I know she was a therapist, but it's all, go work at the actual clinic. She's doing nonprofit work. She was in Hiroshima while the bombing was going on. She was on the enemy team. Then she goes down and runs her crusade. So she's a social justice warrior. Her unconventional techniques involved free therapy sessions for the poor citizens of Pauper's Drop, poker games which she intentionally lost to spread wealth to those who needed it, and the creation of an artistic commune at her personal property in Dionysus Park. After the birth of her daughter, Eleanor Lamb, she made sure that Eleanor would be perfect vessel to continue furthering her goals. All right, so again, like a lot of ideologues, they don't care what their kids want. Oh yeah, no, you're going to grow up gay, you're going to grow up a Marxist, you're going to grow up Christian. She attempted to keep her daughter isolated from other children, privately tutored her, hoping to raise a genius-level intellect. Andrew Ryan noticed Lamb's growing influence with the citizens of Ratchet and began regretting bringing her in. Her ideology of altruism largely clashed with his own. Ryan saw her as a corrupting influence in his paradise. He agreed to a series of public debates, hoping to diffuse Sophia's support by showing the flaws in her reasoning. These topics and debate range from religious rights to the very nature of reality. Oh, those are painful. What is? I believe in my own truth. Later, her followers even shaped a religion around her ideals, referring to themselves as the Rapture family, treating her philosophical book, Unity and Metamorphosis, as a sacred text. She became such a threat that he resorted to less ethical means to have her brought down. Augustus Sinclair Firms was given the task of playing a spy in Sophia Lamb's inner circle to find any crime which she could be jailed. The spy, Rapture Tribune reported Stanley Poole eventually gathered enough evidence for Ryan to make his move. He had Lamb arrested, placed him a penal colony. Trusted her daughter as a therapist for other inmates. Okay, she came from wealth, made it a legit thing. I guess you would say she did have some real world working experience, but then she went on to be a career politician. So she gets her point against there. Came from wealth, an activist, I guess would be a better word. She does have real working experience, and she did not major in stupid. She got her degree in medicine. Yeah, she just became all right. Yeah, she gets a 2. Would I want to have a beer with her? No. Should she run for office? Not really, no. All she knows what to do is take. Oh, the unfairness. Oh, my idealism. Oh, my religion. And that comes at the expense. If we got to take all the money from all the other people, if we got to destroy society, then so if it just saves one life. And there you go. Okay, cool. That's it. No super chats. I might be done. I might be all caught up. And then tomorrow I just have to play catch up and then I get out of here. All right, questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. You guys have got questions. Cappy's got answers at assholeconsulting.com. See you later. Toodles.